we could just talk about your understanding of the foundation of Hamilton with the Oneida Nation back in the 1700s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Oneida Nations had a long history with Hamilton College, straight back to when Samuel Kirkland was a missionary here.
Right.
He was very good friends with many of the Oneidas, and when the war was over, he was actually gifted, land over there. And it was his idea to start a college to educate Oneida students as well as the students of the colonists in the Clinton area.
Right.
They actually, they needed some type of education there, and so it was just a win-win for everybody to get an education. Unfortunately, it never really worked out that way. I don't think any Oneidas ever actually attended Hamilton, and if they did, they certainly did not graduate. But even though that never really came to fruition, Samuel Kirkland did remain a pretty good friend of the Oneidas. He was very good friends with John Shenandoah, who was our chief at the time, or one of our chiefs. And as most people know, when Shenandoah passed away, his desire was to be buried next to Samuel Kirkland. And so he was on Kirkland's property. And then later their bodies were moved over to the Hamilton College Cemetery. But he always had great respect for Kirkland. I know that Samuel Kirkland did a lot of correspondence with other Indians and other tribes.
Right.
He was very involved with Joseph Brant and things that he did. I know there's some correspondence there at Hamilton College from Joseph Brant. We have several copies of the book of the correspondence between Kirkland and different people. It was published a few years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, that seems to be pretty comprehensive. Could you talk about the relationship as you've seen it through your lifetime, as you've known it, whether it's existed or not, between Hamilton and the Oneida Nation in formal or informal ways, however you think it's existed?
Well, I'm 53 years old, so I've lived around this area quite a long time. I moved here when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I can say my relationship with Hamilton College was non-existent until I graduated from college. It may have been, something people knew here, but just didn't really talk about or remember. I was an excellent student in high school. I was a math and science major. I was your atypical Indian student. And if anybody had even mentioned to me that it was an opportunity for me to attend Hamilton College for free, I would have been all over that.
Right.
I would have definitely been an Oneida student who could have excelled at Hamilton College and could have succeeded. Had I known about our relationship, I would have taken advantage of that. But you can see by 1984, that relationship had been completely forgotten. So I ended up attending other colleges, and it wasn't until I was, older that I realized the opportunities Hamilton had.
Right.
So throughout my career here at the Oneida Nation, I've tried to involve the nation with Hamilton College. A few years ago, longer than that, maybe 15 years ago, 20 even, Hamilton College did a program with Utica College and Mohawk Valley. It was for women or men even, I think, who just needed some assistance. And we actually did have a student attend that program. She did very well. We've had students attend the science program we used to do there at the college through a grant.
Right, right.
That was a really well-received program. We actually had some students who attended that program who I believe went on to Hamilton College. Mm-hmm. She was not an Oneida girl, but I believe she was Mohawk.
I think Cattery Whitebean. I think that was her name. Yeah.
Yep.
And is that program still going? Do you know, or?
No, unfortunately, that only ran for a few summers.
Okay.
But luckily, Kateria did take advantage of that.
Okay.
Do you know if that's how she pronounces her name?
I've heard another person say Cattery, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. But yeah,
because in our language, I think it would be pronounced Guttily.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm just curious of how she pronounced it, but okay. I know she studied abroad from there. She did very well at Hamilton College.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know if she would have ever had that opportunity if she hadn't attended our science program there.
Gotcha. So that was, you said about 20 years ago, and it ended recently.
Anything recently? Well, a few years ago, I did work with some students there to help start this Shenandoah-Kirkland initiative,
right,
which was really just to remind people of that relationship and also to maybe reinvent or establish that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So we can help each other to understand each other. That's something that John Shenandoah and Kirkland tried to do very well, was to understand each other. Right. I think if we understand each other, there's less chance of fear or suspicion or anything else like that. So we've tried to be very friendly with Hamilton College throughout the years.
Right. Yeah. And I think, when I came as a freshman here in 2016, I didn't know anything about the history, and it was only because of the Shenandoah-Kirkland initiative that I educated myself on the topic. So I think, would you say it's made? I know you were involved in various lectures and events and things throughout the years, especially in the last 4 years with the Shenandoah-Kirkland initiative. So do you think that's had a positive impact on both Hamilton and the nation?
I think so. It's definitely given Hamilton College students the opportunity to meet some real Indians,
right.
And to really, get to know them. My hope when starting the initiative was to perhaps provide some mentors for our students to maybe look to Hamilton as as an actual realistic opportunity for them.
Right.
And I think that at least just getting to know some of the students there has helped some of these students here.
Mm-hmm.
I know that our singers enjoy going out there. They enjoy meeting people. Just being on a college campus, that alone can inspire some people, to maybe go to college who might not have done that.
Right, exactly.
Big deal to be on a college campus, especially Hamilton.
Right. No, that's true. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
A lot of students never get that opportunity to ever even, step foot on a campus like that. So it's a good opportunity for our kids.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. What would you say in the future? How would you like to see the relationship develop? Obviously, it's hard to know what will happen, but would, for example, something like the mentorship program or some other, I don't know, what would you say?
Well, unfortunately, as you know, I'm not so involved in the department anymore. Right. So I can't really affect any kind of change there, really. But I would hope to see this expand, especially on the Hamilton College aspect. If they know more about the history of that college, I think that every student there should be aware of the Oneida Nation. Mm-hmm. And for you students to be able to attend a social or invite our people out to the campus to hold a social, these are opportunities that your friends will never ever be able to have.
Exactly.
So this is a wonderful opportunity for them. And for our kids, I think it's a great time, especially when you do visit our longhouse, for them to be a little more open sometimes. We can learn from each other. Instead of trying to put up walls, we really got to try to understand each other. And I think this is the best way to do that. So I'd like to see these socials continue. Maybe, as I said, invite students in. Recently, I've heard that there is going to be the Oneida language taught at Hamilton College.
Yep.
And that they've opened that up to Oneida Nation members as well. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity as well. Anytime we can work together is a great opportunity for us both.
Right. I completely agree with that. And yeah, the language program, I would say, is the biggest development, this semester at least. And I think that would be huge, especially since it's open to everyone that's off campus, whether it's adults or students.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. Right.
But aside from all of that, I would love to see an Oneida student actually attend Hamilton. Yeah. That's something else entirely that we've got to work on. But I know we do have students who are perfectly capable. I just think we need to start focusing on them and getting them to think and to know that Hamilton College is, an option for them.
Right. No, completely. And like you said, it's not really on the minds of most students, let alone, Oneida students. Most people don't even know Hamilton exists. So
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's partly because of its history or its like reputation, or do you think it's just because of the fact that Hamilton hasn't really tried to make an effort to publicize itself? What would you say?
I would say it's probably the last thing you said. Okay. Hamilton College could do a much better job recruiting Oneida students and Native students in general. I don't really see much outreach from Hamilton College, trying to get a more diverse population on the campus. They could do a better job in that area.
Yeah, I agree.
So, it's and also I think the students, they don't hear about it. Right. It is a prestigious university. It is quite secluded. And, and it's not an SU out there screaming for students to come and attend. They don't have a big basketball team, that somebody can follow. So it's, it kind of goes under the radar. As I said, I live, 15 miles from there, and I never had heard about it when I was a child. Right. But, of course, things have changed. We know about Hamilton College now. Most people here at Oneida know about the relationship. So it's definitely more of a well-known thing now.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that. I mean, that should only be for the better in the future. That it gets more awareness at least. But I think you're right. I don't think Hamilton really makes an effort to recruit. Native students are much. I mean, as you've seen the campus, it's pretty lacking in diversity.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But that's a problem on all prestigious campuses. I attended 3 private prestigious schools as an Indian student. That's not typical. Right. I attended Cazenovia College, and that's one color. Right. Really one demographic at that school. And then I attended Utica College, which was a little more diverse, but it was still under Syracuse at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I attended Colgate. So, I mean, I've I've never really been to a campus that was very diverse.
Right.
I was always a minority on that campus.
Right. Yeah.
Especially Colgate as a woman. There were other things going on there.
Yeah, so when you attended Colgate, I think that was for your master's, right?
Yes.
Okay. What, because I know also Colgate is also, I mean, on Oneida Land, I believe, and there was a talk a few years ago, 2 years ago, I think, with the historian who was there. Anyway, what would you say your experience was there? Do you think there was more of an, I don't know, awareness about its history than, say, at Hamilton? Because I know I think they have a Native studies program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I don't think that Colgate has done a much better job than Hamilton.
Right.
I wouldn't say that. I think maybe we're more aware of them only because they're on a main drag and we drive through their campus.
Right.
And then years and years ago, when I was a child, we had a program established here where we would actually go swimming down on their campus.
Oh, really?
So that was a long time ago, but we've had a relationship with Colgate for quite some time.
Okay.
They've also worked on some of our archaeological digs, because they do have archaeological students.
Right.
So we've done a dig with them for several years. Unfortunately, I think we had a little falling out about something. I'm not quite sure, and so we no longer work with Colgate on our digs.
Okay.
But they've held several talks and seminars on different things. They've invited speakers to come in and discuss various topics, such as Colgate being on Oneida Nation land. Right. And so a lot of Nation members did attend those talks, maybe questioned the speaker a little bit. Right. It was Lawrence Hopman, and sometimes he can be a little bit arrogant about things. So we did have some Nation members there during his talk to, set him straight on a few issues. Right. Lawrence has been studying our nation for a long time, and unfortunately, he focuses more on the Wisconsin Oneidas. So when he comes here, he forgets that there's still Oneidas here. Right.
That's obviously that's cause for being upset. Right.
But aside from that, Colgate, they've tried. For a long time, they held a lot of our artifacts, and were not really letting us know about it. Recently, we had somebody working there who stumbled across some of these things. And so we are now in the process of repatriating many of these items back to the nation. And so if Hamilton College has any artifacts that belong to the Oneida Nation, it might be a good proactive measure to try to return those things.
Right. No, obviously it would be. Yeah, I'm not too sure if they do, and I think if they have anything, it would be less than what Colgate does. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, I wish I knew, but
yeah, and I'm sure you don't, because even some of the people at the college were not aware of the items they held there. They were truly kept in secret.
Right. Right. So, and that was recently that they started the repatriation.
Yes, yep, that's very recent, within the last year. I believe we're still working through negotiations to return some of those items.
Well, yeah, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, so, but, our relationship with Colgate has been up and down. It's been good at times, and then there's been times when it's not been so good.
Right.
Recently, it's getting better. Because they have acknowledged that they will return these items, and they've acknowledged they should not have held them. So, we're working through things.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's very informative, and I had no idea about this, so that'll be very helpful. Yeah.
That's just another aspect that Indian people have to deal with these colleges over.
Right.
For a long time, they didn't consult us at all when they had these items. And now that we have the, NAGPRA, Native American Graves and Repatriation Act, they have to return these items.
Right.
And if we don't know they have them, how are we supposed to make them return them to us?
Yeah, exactly.
That's your problem there. It's very hard to know what they have when they don't tell us what they have.
No, you're right. Yeah, and even some other people in the college don't even know because a few people hold on to them.
Exactly.
Right.
But that just means that there have to be certain people at the college who are actively or proactively trying to keep this hidden.
Right. No,
I mean, there's a double side to that. It's not just that people don't know, it's that people are actually, mindfully keeping it hidden.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
So they have to keep these mechanisms in place in order to keep this going.
Right.
So once something is found out and it's broken, that's when things get fixed.
No, you're absolutely right.
But aside from those issues, Colgate, they hold a Native American fair once a year. So we do have a presence there a little bit. They do a land acknowledgement, I believe, as Hamilton does as well, at every event, which is helpful.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground. If there's anything else you'd like to say about moving in the future, but if not, I mean, I think this was very helpful. But
well, I think that's good enough. If there's anything else you want to ask me, you can always call me back.
Sounds good, Candice. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for calling, David. I hope you do well on it.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.